It's the Scott and Steve Show on Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio. Scott and Steve.
Me too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back to you.
All right, we're at the famous, world-famous Scott and Steve
Award-winning
show.
show.
Two-time, I might add.
That's right. That's right.
We're back, though. It's new semester, spring 2020.
It is.
We have to say 2020. You can't just say 20 because people might, try
Mistake it for 2009, 2012.
Exactly. Or sometimes try to write in other numbers throughout to put us in a bad situation. Right. So 2020 show. Hi, Jeremiah.
Are you sure?
Well, that's what they tell us. I don't know.
That's right.
How are you doing, Jeremiah? All right?
Going.
Welcome
How about
back.
you?
All right. Did you have a nice holiday?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, building wood stuff before Christmas with that great temperature.
Jeremiah is a budding carpenter.
He is. I think that'd be a nice role for him futuristically.
Right.
I think he could do that. A birdhouse I saw you build today, right? Or not today, but you built. We just saw it.
It's what, 19 or 20?
Yeah, you're up there. You've got quite a few. And you got to get on Facebook and follow him first.
Facebook?
Yes, I know.
Facebook's not good for me.
You'll probably start a Facebook account when it's slowly
over?
like the old thing.
It already is the old thing.
It's holding strong, dude.
With old people, it is.
Well, yeah.
Well, compared to MySpace, it's actually holding a lot stronger.
MySpace, my what?
Yeah.
Blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all good. That's all good. Steve, did you have a good holiday break?
I did. It was nice and quiet. Kind of had a little experience up in Ann Arbor. Went up to Ann Arbor for New Year's and got towed. Had to go recover a car in Ann Arbor.
Outstanding.
It's much like Cleveland Heights. There's parking meters everywhere, and was told to park in a certain spot. Parked there, and
did you tell them that you were on the Scott and Steve show and who you were?
Yeah, I don't really think they would have got us much off campus.
Oh man, I'm not sure about that.
So this new equipment he's having issues with already. I think we might be on a test run here.
No, I think of my cable's going bad.
My cables. Ugh. So, but other than that, it was a nice quiet holiday break. Very resting. And we haven't had any major snow yet, which is good.
Boy, knock on wood there. I hope they're not waiting to April to make it rain and stuff. So, jeepers creepers. Yeah, the sound keeps going
right.
on.
Sorry, everybody. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here.
Good thing we got Jeremiah, the engineer.
Yes, we would have been lost without him.
That's it.
We would have been lost without him. So,
compared to me before when I was cleaning everything last week because of the fire thing that they're doing in here.
Yep.
In that
building's getting retrofitted.
Yeah. They unplugged that wire when I was wiping everything down, getting all, the dust and stuff when they had that open.
I'm surprised you guys didn't cellophane everything.
Well, no one told us that they were coming to do it, so.
It's another reason not to clean, right? When you clean, it screws things up.
Exactly. Just let it go.
Let it be, let it be. So. Well, very good, man. That's very good. There's a lot.
How was your holiday?
My holiday, it was okay. I went to New York, saw the in-law, mother-in-law, sister-in-law. My mom drove up and got hers. Saw my son, which was good. He had 2 days off. He's working the old night shift and loving life. So I got to see him. It was good. Saw my daughter, the hockey player. She's back. Well, was back. She's gone. So they played just the other night, Sunday night. They played out in Scranton. I did not go see them.
Scranton,
yeah,
PA?
I would have got home 2-3 in the morning. And I just couldn't.
Southeast PA, right?
It's. I don't want to say it's in the center. It's to the eastern
it's home
side.
of Dunder Mifflin.
That could be. That I don't know. But I do know it's to like 2/3 of the way across the state, and it's about 5.5 hours from here. So, but they won. She had a women's Gordie Howe hat trick. She had a goal, an assist, and a penalty. So life was good all in one game. So and they won. So that's good. Yeah, got a
Dunder Mifflin.
I'm off to New York this weekend to watch her play again. So I'm very excited about that. So it should be good. So we'll see.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, a lot going on in the sports world.
It is. It is.
Bad and different. There's a whole heck of a lot of stuff going on.
I tell you what, I mean, just and we'll get to it, but the pros, Tennessee is. If you would have told me 4 weeks ago Tennessee Titans are going to do it, I'm like, what's Tennessee? I mean, they've been the silent killer, I'll call them, because they are picking people off left and right.
And they head to San Fran this weekend, correct?
Yes, they play San Francisco. I think Arizona plays.
Green Bay. It's Green Bay. And,
not Arizona. Kansas City. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So there's some games we got to think about here. Do we want to make picks on these games or what?
honestly, this is not the Final Four that I would have ever pictured.
I know. Baltimore getting upset
I thought Baltimore.
Huge.
Honestly, I heavily thought Baltimore was going to championship game.
I did too.
Right off the bat.
I did too.
Super Bowl, not unfathomable,
Right.
but you didn't know, right?
I was on the bandwagon and them completely.
I mean, I am. I'm a Jackson fan through and through. I mean, I'm not obviously a Baltimore fan as a team, but this guy's got what it takes. I mean, I see great things out of him.
I did think Tennessee would get him. I did not think that would get him there from that aspect. But yeah, it's we're still having some technical difficulties here as we go.
You're going in and out, yeah.
Outside, but we're definitely in and out in here.
Right.
But so now they're talking about changing the rules, though, a little bit of the game for Lamar and for quarterbacks like him.
Oh, I did not hear this.
Yeah,
Do tell.
Well, they're talking about looking at when the quarterback goes outside the pocket, instead of treating him like a true runner, keeping some of the hit limitations on him, on quarterbacks, I should say, so that way they can stay healthy.
From what I hear, I'm not a fan already.
I'm not either. I'm not
a
a fan of this either. And of course, the gurus are saying, but this is the way the league's going. We got to protect our product and stuff.
But this isn't the way the league's going.
I would agree.
They're choosing to do this.
We have one or two
Right.
that do that. That had the skill set to do
Right.
that. But I mean, from that aspect as well. I mean, if you think about it, if I go outside the pocket, am I switching my
Right.
screen?
Yeah.
All right. How's that? Is that better?
Ooh, a lot of noise. Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody, if you're listening.
Yep.
We're readjusting our mics here, and
Hopefully that's doing it. So
Yeah.
if you go outside the pocket, because these guys throw on the run, they shovel pass, they do all kinds of stuff. How can you possibly say you can't hit someone outside like that? Outside the pocket. I mean, because you're taking a guess every time. And then if you hold up and don't hit them, and they're going to go for extra yards, make a play that they maybe shouldn't have. I mean, there's all kinds of things there. I think you just got to leave it alone, let them play.
I agree. I really think the league is stripping away key aspects of the sport. I'm all for safety.
Oh, for sure.
I understand
Yeah.
concussion protocol. I understand targeting calls, helmet to helmet contact, defenseless, receiver call.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But when you're carving out rules that basically turn an interaction between a defender and a quarterback outside the pocket into a hands-off situation,
Right.
you are just taking the whole dynamic of the game away.
I absolutely agree.
I mean,
absolutely
you
agree.
strap pads and a helmet on to play this game. There is a level of physicality, and we've talked about this many a times.
Yep.
I don't. I mean, I sometimes wonder what is going to be that final nail in the coffin for the NFL, to the point where fans the majority of fans just walk away.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at, bowl games are a bad example, but the NFL football in general, it's popular, obviously, but
Right.
but it's not as popular as it was amongst younger. I mean,
No.
it's going down. I mean, soccer's growing. People are getting nervous about the hitting, the concussions,
Right.
and stuff like that. There's less people playing nationally, and it's still early, but in 10 years, 15 years, when those kids grow up,
Right.
that's the next generation, if you will, from that aspect. And will that support still be there? And if they continue to do it, what will happen? I mean, that's a big question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this what we'll call lack of a support a product of the pre-concussion, or the early concussion days,
Right.
which has probably caused a ripple in a generation, if you will, regarding contact sports.
Right.
I don't see sports, now whether professional or otherwise, being a heavy importance to a younger generation. And some of that got relayed to me, obviously, as you know, having a brother that works for the University of Michigan, and at the time he was involved with the annual giving in the athletics department. Student sections, and I mean, I've even been to games.
Cross colleges,
Virtually
across
empty.
the nature, yeah,
Virtually empty,
across
or
the
they roll
country.
in whenever they want.
Right,
they're not
right.
there for kickoff.
No, and they're leaving if it's not close, or leaving.
Right, or they got better things to do, or this or that.
Party
So-
starts at 4.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad to see,
Right.
in terms of school spirit and support for the teams.
Right.
more bleacher than bodies.
Yep.
Especially in that corner.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
To the point where they opened up for alum. I mean, there's plenty of alum who, on waiting lists.
Right.
They can sell them, but they'd
Right.
rather obviously have the student, there.
Wow.
So I think I don't know how it's going to play out. You'd have a better pulse on that than I would have.
Well, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I think colleges across the country, in particular, I mean, that's well stated, well versed, well
Right.
documented that they're struggling on how to maintain, interaction with their fans, crowds,
Right.
students, student body as a whole. Outside of the top elite programs, honestly, you go to other football games. You go to a Division III game, you go to a Division II game, you go to some Division I games that aren't Ohio State and et cetera, and frankly, there's a lot of empty seats.
Right.
That it's there. There's no question about it. And I mean, it's a fact that it's that most college programs that have football lose money. I mean, there's only a handful across the country that can actually fund themselves, and it's as funds get tight, it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Right.
Nationally, at some point, something's got to give. You can only continue. I mean, as we were alluding to the bowl games a little bit earlier, they're saying, we make all kinds of money in the television contracts, but if you look at them, there's nobody at any of the bowl games, and they're going to expand the number again next year.
Right.
I mean, if there's nobody there, I mean, at some point, a business has got to say, wait a minute, does this make sense?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yes, I can be on the Ocho, but does
Right.
this make sense to actually do this? And I just can't
Fair
see
enough.
that continuing,
Do you think the introduction of video replay is starting to have an effect as well, in the sense that people get turned off,
Yeah. Turns me off. I can tell you that.
taking the human element away,
Yep.
whether it's stopping play to review,
Right.
reversing a call,
I what I think the worst case is okay, video replay, there's your purists are not going to want it, period. I'm one of those. I don't want replay. I think they should get rid of it, all levels, get rid of it. What I think makes it worse is that when you have replay and things appear to be pretty clear on replay, and then it's not overturned,
Right.
or it's not changed or corrected
it's not.
or fixed.
I mean, it's not irrefutable.
Yeah. Well, or let's look at the championship game for the football this weekend, right? It was clear that the player from LSU put his hand out of bounds, hit on the ground.
Right.
Play continues on. They wind up scoring. You know what I mean? I mean, it was clear as day. The
Sure.
pass interference against Clemson that was called offensive pass interference. It looked pretty clear. It could have been defensive interference. It
Right.
probably should have been. Takes a touchdown away.
Right.
It changes the game.
Right.
So if you have the ability to correct it and choose not to correct it, then get rid of it. I
Right.
mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Because even reviewing it, they're still not calling it right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So if you're not going to do it,
Right.
get rid of it. I mean, I think it frustrates more people and gives them, and quite honestly, it gives them ammunition.
Right. Fans will be fans. Don't get me wrong, but it's the cultivating of fans,
Right.
that I think is in jeopardy, and that's the the heart of what we're talking about.
Right.
A lot of memes bouncing around on Facebook. With and I'm not saying it's purely Ohio State, but a lot of people are saying, well, Ohio State should have been in the end with LSU. They are a better team than Clemson, and we got gypped by the refs,
Yeah.
and every team does,
Right.
right? But if you have to download to
To
a
see
play or
play.
two
Right.
that you got gypped on,
Right.
you better up your game then.
Right. Well, let's be honest. What cost Ohio State the game is that punting when they ran into the kicker.
Right.
He was punting the ball. That
Sure.
in my eyes, that was the
Right, it's the small mistakes.
That was the big
Right.
play that really
Right.
really turned it on.
And
a dime.
Clemson controlled the clock off the bat.
For sure. I did think Ohio State played better as a team.
Sure.
But they made critical mistakes.
Sure.
And,
They capitalized.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I also think, though, that LSU was the better team of Clemson, and why? So I thought LSU was
Oh, yeah.
was the
Most
better
definitely.
team. But on the same aspect, quite honestly, if a couple calls were corrected, that game could have gone a completely different
Sure.
way.
Well, all it takes is one scoring drive to take
That's
to
it.
shift the momentum.
That's it.
You could take the crowd out of it. You can
Yep.
take, obviously, mental psyche out of it to the point where, people aren't able to bounce back, offense or defense capitalizes, they continue to roll.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think it's a conversation that is timeless, and we'll be having this 30, 40 years from now.
For sure.
But
you know, in baseball, they're now prepping the minors. They're going with the automatic strike calls and stuff. You know, by the technology type one, and it has not been perfected, which makes it more interesting. So I'll be curious to hear how that goes this year.
I'm assuming that strike zone moves based on batter height and everything.
Yes, it does, and so. They ran it out west in one of the Pioneer League or some some independent league this year that triggers a lot of those trials for Major League Baseball, and they were having pitches that were in the dirt being called strikes, and some they're saying, hey, according to their thing, the curveball cut across the front knee, bounced in the dirt, it cut the front knee, that's a strike, and so it's going to be very interesting to see. Now, I think they said it's 3 years away from being at the Major League Baseball.
Do you want it? I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Personally,
No.
I don't want it at all. As I said, I think they should get rid of all the replay across the board, get rid of it. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan. But they're saying it's coming. I mean, and it probably will. And I just think it's crazy. I think it's ridiculous. Get rid of it. Don't want it.
Right.
It's a game. Play the game and go from there. The problem is there's too much money at stake for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And now you can go so far with technology being bad, though. I mean, let's look what's happening in Major League Baseball also with the Houston Astros and their manager and their general manager getting fired for using technology to steal signs throughout their championship season in 2017.
Let me ask a question, though. I mean, and I have not looked at it. Maybe both of you might know. Is there anything in the Major League Baseball rulebook that says you cannot
use
attempt
technology
to intercept signage?
Technology is not allowed. That's the key. Yes, they do have the technology is not allowed.
So I could very easily have one of my guys in the bullpen with binoculars.
Yep. I don't know if you can. Binoculars might be speculated
Is that
as well.
technology?
Well, it might be. Actually, it very well might be. Because you can't have a watch on and stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that.
I get it. It's just
stealing signs in general, no. You're at second base, you're stealing signs. That's part of the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Binoculars could be labeled as enhancement.
Yeah, I don't think they're allowed. The binoculars are not allowed either, believe it or not.
They don't have it as a single word. Right. It could be enhancement of the game that you could argue.
I guess I'm going to equate it like this, right? We'll go into auto racing, right? A lot of rules in auto racing. Pretty much, cars very, very much the same level, or they try to instill the rules to make the vehicle level and rely on driver performance.
Right.
I get if you're doing something to enhance the vehicle to make it go faster than the others or anything like that. I don't see this as being something that's outrageously, it's almost like blaming things on the refs for making a bad call. Right? Up your game.
Right.
Okay? If you're telling me that Jeremiah is stealing your signs and giving his team an advantage by saying, hey, this pitch is coming up, change up, what have you, you still have to hit that ball.
Yes,
okay.
But I will say this. I will say this though. Someone who's played baseball, if you know what pitch is coming, that's huge in helping you.
I get it.
That's huge.
I get it. You still have to perform.
Still got to perform, but it's a huge advantage. It is a huge advantage.
I don't see it that way, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Right? You do your scouting report correctly, you'll know that pitcher's probably got two solid and maybe a third pitch that they have in their wheelhouse. You have a third, we'll just say, if we're going by those numbers, of an opportunity to get that pitch right. I don't. Rules are rules. I get it. Okay. But I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I think they're breaking down to the technology. There was an issue back in, I want to say like 15 or 16, where a team, it was the Red Sox actually, were relaying signs into the Apple Watches and stuff. And so at that point, Major League Baseball said, hey, there's no technology allowed, can't do it. So then when Houston went ahead and did it, what they were doing is they're using a camera in center field, and then we're relaying that feed into the dugout areas to the players, and the players were relaying the pitches to the batters.
Right.
So that's the technology, if you will, use from that standpoint. The camera was legal because they are able to do that from that view, but to relay into the dugout was not. And then to use it. And they were banging on garbage cans and stuff like that
good
to
for
make
them.
noise. But the dilemma with it is that it's technology, so it's a clear violation. And Alex Cora, the former Red Sox manager,
I seen that last
because he
night.
was in there. Yeah, he's been let go as well. But Boston's also been accused of a similar thing in part of 2018. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But you figure Houston, that they penalized the general manager and the manager, both gone for a year, and so then were fired.
Right.
And they lost draft picks, 2 years worth of draft picks, top two rounds. Well, baseball, that's important, you know.
It's important any. I don't see it as that big.
Yeah. And they were fined $5 million. The $5 million is probably not as big a deal for
Right.
us. That's a lot, but for them, that's
Chump change.
Yeah, it's something out of their bucket. But the firing of the manager, suspending them for a year, and the general manager for a year, that's pretty big, you know.
Right.
And I think Cora, quite honestly, I think he'll get more. Because he was supposedly the ringleader in Houston, and they did some of that in Boston from what's being reported. And I think he'll be gone perhaps a couple years. I wouldn't be surprised if he had to reapply for reinstatement and had all kinds of issues against him.
Is he related to Joey Cora?
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So it'll be it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Now, it's also interesting is Carlos Beltran, who was on the Astros team, who partook in all of this as a player, is now the manager of the Mets. You know, first-time manager for the Mets. So it's interesting to see if they'll do
What's
that.
he going to bring to the table?
Well, what they're saying actually is that Major League Baseball will not discipline any players, and the reason for that is the Players Association will fight it. And they don't want to drag this out for months and years. They want to be able to do it. Whereas the managers, coaches, general managers, the ability, they don't have a union backing them,
Right.
so they can put the penalty down, levy down, pretty much done. You know what I mean? And so
Put a little asterisk next to that World Series win, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that or not because it's going to be interesting.
Like I said, they still got to perform.
That's it. Well, CC Sabathia, of course, Cheeseburger himself is already whining about how the Yankees were ripped off a World Series in 2017 and 18 because, you know, they were good enough to win.
Can't prove it.
And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I disagree. You know, in 17, Houston was the best team. In 2018, Boston had a tremendous season. I still thought Houston was a better team.
Right.
You know, but, you know, Boston, peaked at the right time. But, stop it. CC, stop. Stop your whining. Go back, play, go from there. He's retired. He's a specialist.
Must be an Ohio State fan.
Not necessarily. He was in Ohio State when he was in Ohio.
I'm just
He's
making
just-
a correlation to something else.
Yeah.
No, I got that, but the only thing is the
He is a LeBron James
actuality.
fan, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you see that
Yeah.
news?
What news is that? No, go ahead.
LeBron James passes Michael Jordan with all-time field goals.
Oh, well.
It's
Yeah.
listen.
You know,
It's
good for him.
It's an accolade.
Yep,
You
good
know,
for him.
he's
Yep.
turned into a little bit of a tool in my view book, but good for him. I mean, it's an accolade. It's something
sure.
we may never see again, or it'd be a long
Right.
time.
Right. Yep. I got it. You got it.
Difference is, LeBron did. Michael Jordan did spend 4 years in college, or did some college time where we just didn't
Correct.
hop right in after high school. So.
Correct. And he also took a couple years off for baseball.
Right.
And
Came back,
so on and
yeah.
so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Congratulations to him.
Right.
That I have to choke when I say that, but congratulations
Wow.
to him. And we'll go from there.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, not a fan. Great player, not a fan.
Yeah.
But hey, that's all right. That's all right. So back to football.
Right.
We got playoffs coming this weekend. Are we going to lay this out for some games?
Slices
betting
or a
here?
whole?
Yeah.
Or
What do
are
we
we
want
going
to
to save
do
the
here?
whole for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, let's lay it out here. What do we want to do?
I'm game with whatever.
Let's do slices at this point and
Okay.
save the biggie for the granddaddy of them
Sounds
all,
good.
the
Sounds
Super
good.
Bowl from that aspect. So,
Maybe the Super Bowl will just be like a, depending on how it turns out, maybe just after a post show, we'll have a pizza ready to go, some chips, some drinks, have a nice lunch together.
that's a really good idea.
That works.
On the loser.
Yeah, I know, of course. But
Right.
that's a really good idea. I
So,
like that. I like
yeah.
that idea. All right, so let's look at it. We've got KC and
Tennessee.
KC, Tennessee.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Well, KC, Tennessee. I still think KC's the team to beat. Tennessee's
Yeah.
playing hot right now, but man, Kansas City's tough.
I say Kansas City as well. I don't know what Jeremiah thinks. We might not even bet on that game.
I'll go Tennessee. What the hell?
Okay.
All right, there you go. Tennessee.
Do you want to put it on the board?
Are we going to remember this?
We're going to remember?
We'll remember.
All right.
All right, we got minds like traps here. So, all right, so we got that. So that's for the slices, I would say. That's for slices.
Slices, yes.
All right, let's get a drink in there with the next game. That's Green Bay and San Fran.
I'm taking Green Bay.
Ooh.
I'm going to take Green Bay in that one. Just feels right.
All right, I'll take San Fran then.
Yeah, I gotta go San Fran.
Do it.
Okay. All
Do
right.
it.
All right. So we got there. No, I wouldn't surprise me. San Fran wouldn't surprise me going down, but
Right.
I'll go San Fran. I mean,
Okay.
I'm good with that. I'm comfortable with that. So very good. We got it set for that's one's for drinks, not
Yep.
alcoholic.
Sodas.
Sodas or I'd like a chocolate milk personally, but
Yeah.
I'll save you money. Get chocolate milk. It's
Okay.
cheaper.
Right. It's outstanding. You're assuming I'm losing.
Well, yeah. All right. Very good.
Well, you already assumed that you're losing the Super Bowl pick, so
What? Wait, what? Super Bowl. We haven't picked yet.
I know. But then assuming I'm the loser.
Well.
Yeah, you said that like not even minutes ago. So
All right, well, we'll see how it goes. Well, what do we think about the NCAA football game? Any thoughts, comments, questions? Any surprises? I wasn't really
No,
surprised.
I'm not surprised with LSU winning it.
Yeah, I
No.
wasn't
surprised at all.
well. But anything? They're already getting predictions for next year. I haven't reviewed that yet.
Ohio State number 1.
Oh, gee. Well, you know what? They're graduating a lot, which is interesting. So we'll see.
We'll see how Ryan Day's sophomore year is. I mean, he
Right.
still has a little bit of urban recruiting going on. We'll see.
Yep.
The future of
think
Ohio
Bam-
State is definitely rooted right now to see where Ryan Day's going with his recruiting
Right. I would
ability
agree
to
there.
recruit.
Yep.
I don't know. Bama, I think, sort of losing their edge.
I don't know. I think Bama's reloading.
They beat Michigan pretty well in the bowl game.
I
So
think they're reloading.
yeah.
Personally.
Well, you guys just didn't show up the second half.
they had a lot of guys sitting out, but
Yeah.
honestly, I did not put much stock in Michigan winning that game. I think it was, even though the rankings were close.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it wasn't a true.
Right.
The ranking did not match up true with the team ability at that point, that late in the year. I don't think that the Alabama. I think Michigan probably should have been lower in the ranking than they were.
I haven't seen it, but Clemson, I got to believe, is going to be top 1 or 2. LSU losing Burrows, they could drop down a little bit. Burrows will probably be the new quarterback for your Bengals.
And I hope they just sit him for a little bit.
And play who?
Well, play Dalton. You only got one more year. Just let him sit for. I mean,
That's
come on.
true. He does.
You
have
know
one
the
more
game
year.
is totally different. The kid,
I
you know,
agree.
he's a great quarterback at the collegiate level. But at the same time, there's no way you should put him in as the starting quarterback in year number 1 at all.
No.
I wouldn't even put him in even if Dalton goes down for some odd reason.
That's not going to happen.
I know, but the kid needs development.
I agree with that. But it's
Maybe
gonna
give
be
him,
shocking.
the last 2 games, sort of a touch preview at the end of the year.
What does that do for him? That doesn't do anything for him. I'm not a firm believer in playing your people
learning
at
the
the end of the year.
offense, seeing how he's,
Listen, that's what training
catching on
camp's for. If you're a quarterback, if you're playing the game, if you're playing football throughout whatever it is, high school, college, and everything, and now the pros, if you don't understand how the game goes, you shouldn't even be there.
It's going to be faster.
No.
Harder.
Yeah.
Right. It's a different level of play,
right.
but it is still the same game.
Right. I would agree with that.
So,
that.
it should be exciting. If Cincinnati, I just hope they don't blunder this. They have to know they have to take them.
I was going to say, are they going to trade down to get 3 picks?
Right, but that's the thing. Go right for them. Take them.
Be done with
Secure
it.
your future.
Be done with it.
You got a hell of a wide receiver core. Mixon's tearing it up. Starting to get some traction. Maybe 2020 is a great year for Cincinnati coming back. I'm not saying playoffs at all, but definitely better than the 2-win game or 2-win team.
Do I hear you say 8-8?
No.
It's too early for that. Too early.
No. But you guys can all tell me I was right.
You were right. Brownies didn't do it. Brownies didn't do it.
They didn't. And I even said 7 and 9.
I know. You did.
Oh, 500s. I'm like, dude, they won't even make 7 and 9.
Yep.
I was so happy when Cincinnati won that game. Sealed a lot of deals for me.
Yep.
Recouped a lot of double or nothings. So, but yeah, they got some problems. They got some work to do in the offseason. I don't know about this new guy, Stefanski.
I
know
a
lot of people are already upset because this guy couldn't even win in his playoff game, and now we're taking him out. Come on.
Right.
You know.
I'm not a fan
He
of
at least got to the playoffs
again.
That's what they can't look at it that way.
Right.
Me, I'm more of the thing of another first-time head coach.
Yep.
You know,
I'm going to tell you, you finish that, but I want to address that comment.
You know, you're taking, another leap of, grace and all that, and, Jimmy coming out, well, no, if we'll get this correct in that.
That's good radio right there. That was you. Anybody listening, you just had to be in a booth to see that visual. If you didn't have that visual, it probably did not come out right. So,
all right.
Well, him going and saying, well, I don't know. How do we go and buy in of a team, an owner, and that when he goes out of, oh, well, yeah, I don't know if we'll get this right. We've been hearing that for a long time.
Okay, so first of all, you've attached yourself as our team, and it's not. It is his team. He like you said, he is the owner, so he's going to do what he wants, whether the fans agree with it or not.
Well, it's sort of ours because we sort of fund the organization.
No, you don't. Not one bit.
Not his.
Not one bit. No, he does not need your money.
No.
They can lock the doors and still have a game.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's
not for long.
Never mind. He'll just raise gas prices at the Flying J's.
Paying $3 a gallon.
Right.
Or maybe they'll get another, investigation.
All right, so here's my thing. All right. I don't care if he's a first-time head coach. I know that it has left a bad taste in the Browns' mouth or Browns fans' mouth for a couple years now with Pettit. Pettit was his name, right?
Pettit was one.
And then this last Yahoo.
Well,
show me an experienced. Show me. First of all, show me an experienced coach. Number one, that is looking for a job. Number two, that wants to, or maybe come out of retirement to take another job.
The Browns'
Number three,
job, might add.
for the Browns,
right?
Okay, so there's kind of a reason why Haslam, I think, goes for these coaches is he wants to run the team. He wants to be a Jerry Jones. He wants to be a Al Davis, God rest his soul. He is not that caliber of owner because he doesn't understand football. Jerry Jones and Al Davis understand football, not just office management.
Right.
Okay. Haslam,
no, I'm not arguing on that point.
But Haslam is probably the personality who does not want someone in there who's going to tell him how to run his team or own his and manage his team. It goes the other way. So who else is left? First-year coaches who don't know any better. They want to get their beak wet. They want to get some experience and probably move on. But nobody wants the dumpster fire of Cleveland. Nobody.
It's true.
Talk to us about the role DeBattista played in all this. Though, he's taking a lot of heat because he's, living in California, and obviously he finally got the guy he wanted, I guess, a couple of years ago.
Right.
How do we feel about that? Having a person who's influential in decisions, who's not
shot calling.
It was not here. You know what I mean? That's like us sitting home in our chairs and making the play calls.
I think it just goes back to Haslam.
Yeah.
Not being of a football awareness or having a prowess. He has to rely on advisors.
Right.
Who have no skin in the game.
I think
other than maybe him being paid for his thoughts, right?
Sure.
He doesn't care.
Right. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Like the one worst thing is not finding a way to keep Dorsey. That was sort of a dumb move of was it DeCapesta or whatever they should have capped him a long time ago.
Well, but therein lies the issue is, okay, so whose decision was it to hire Kitchens? If it truly was Dorsey, which is what they say, Kitchens got to go. Now he's just laying there, man. That was his man. You know what I mean? And I agree with you. I would have liked to have seen him stay.
Because he's more the football mindset that let's say, that organization needed.
Right. Well, they're talking
'Cause
now about
Dorsey's-
bringing in essentially the Minnesota
Okay, so-
assistant manager, general manager, who worked with Stefanski, and then it would be interesting to see who his coordinators are. If he brings in someone who has head coaching experience, I think that'd be a pro. I really do think that'd be a pro from an experience, and maybe get him to settle a little bit and learn a little bit. But he's got to have confidence to have someone come in and do that too, and that'll be interesting.
Well, Jeremiah was just trying to make a case for keeping Dorsey. Even after they let go of Kitchens, right?
Yeah.
But but what you said is he was the football guy. He was the one with the organization who had the football experience. That's why he got fired. You got it wrong.
Right.
You got it wrong, dude.
Right.
Okay.
As a coach,
not even as a coach, dude. I mean, you had a fan base. You had a lot of I call them pundits within the pro football world asking, what are they doing with this guy?
Right.
Oh, we're going to keep him on for another year. What?
Right.
What? And I think a lot of that got overshadowed with the star-filled roster they had. Be like you can get a 5-year-old out on that sideline and win with this roster, so we're going to be good. And then no, you weren't. So yeah, he is probably Dorsey's decision to keep Kitchens got him fired. I believe that.
I could see that. I definitely could see that.
That's why I'm paying, if I'm Jimmy Haslam, that's why I'm paying you.
Right.
To make these decisions. You just proved that with all the big names we now have, like I've said before, never have they put together a better team than late 80s Browns, right? You've never seen so many stars on the team since, I'm convinced, of the 80s. They should have done something. They should have at least won 500. They didn't. But anyway.
But that's sort of at least the one jury out for this year of if he can make 500 with this team, he's probably next on the chopping block.
Who?
Our new head coach already.
Oh, that guy? No.
I would put money on that.
I think he gets his 3 years. I think what he signed, 5-year deal.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he signed a 5-year deal.
Yeah, 5 years.
I think he is safe for at least 3.
I was going to say 2.
I say 3.
Okay,
I
I
would say-
hope so.
I would say either 1.5.
No.
You know why? Because now
no.
he's got the perfect out. These aren't his guys.
There's
This
no way.
If quarterback goes out and lays an egg again, hey, he's not my guy.
Right.
You guys gave me him. I got to go out and draft somebody.
And produce him.
Yeah,
There's no way.
Yeah,
He's got at least 3 years, I think. And Scott said 2.
Yeah,
With past actions, I can't actually buy into 3 years.
But here's the problem. That's why you guys are having the problem you're having.
Right.
Because the
Constant turnover.
fans cannot buy into anything.
Right.
I don't completely agree with it, but with past actions, you got to go with the short end of the stick.
And you're basing it off of, he's a first-year coach. Okay, what did Bill Belichick do for Cleveland?
He was here 5 years.
What did he do for Cleveland?
Right.
Not much. Went to Patriots, lit the world on fire. Okay, so it really doesn't matter. I guess I don't know if it came out right by using Bill Belichick as the equation, but
he gave great press conferences.
yes,
he still does.
I'm like a dead fish. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say to that, but
team that coaches up the great coaches.
Okay,
that's a good synopsis of it.
The guy obviously has credentials to be a head coach. Otherwise, he would not be interviewing or being called to be interviewed.
Right.
He's been in the system. Obviously, Minnesota recently, but it's not going to happen in 1 year.
Right.
It's not going to happen in a year and a half.
Right.
And the Browns organization, since their return, I would say, Al Lerner wasn't guilty of this as much as the subsequent owners, but the Browns organization have cultivated a fan to expect instant results for that following year.
Right.
And if they don't get it done, someone's going to pay for it. It might be the quarterback, it might be the superstars, it might be the front office, it might be the head coach. The problem is they're not just staying the course because they don't even have a map.
I was gonna say
They don't even have a map to stay course.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Right.
They need to just suck it up, Stop changing some of the major components.
Right.
Let it ride, and your smaller components should fall into place. You have to give it more than a year or two. Now, I'm not saying Kitchen should have been given more time. God knows he did not even deserve to be on that sideline with the headphone. You know, in my mind, he is always going to be a supporting role coach. You know, whether it's special teams, maybe an OC, defensive coordinator, whatever. I don't see him as being that head coach. And a lot of people thought his demise, as Landry had said, I think it was Landry who made a comment after the Pittsburgh stuff, you know, he never respected their opponents.
Right.
And I thought it was a very interesting article because...
Well, when he wore that shirt and stuff. And
Pittsburgh
examples.
started it.
Yeah, right.
Right. And you could be for your team.
Right.
You could be the biggest cheerleader for your team and lead them, but you have to also respect the opponent, because the minute you think it's us, it's Cleveland against the world, like he came out on a press conference, if you're not with us, then you're against us. Dude, you ain't invincible.
Right.
And you know what? You probably just stoked the fire in a lot of teams.
Right.
You know?
It's different.
I think a lot of those wins came because of the team being who they are and maybe coming together more than what their head coach gave them. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's different of what you put out to the team in that. No, if he wore that shirt at home and believed it, okay. As long as you leave it there.
But I think Browns
You
fans love
bring
that.
it there.
I think Browns fans love that.
No,
problem.
it was people that did.
And that's
I
a
didn't.
problem.
That was stupid. He
Right.
should have been wearing that out there in public.
But
and all
here's the
that
thing:
garbage.
he knows he was in quicksand, and what can I do to charge the base to make them love me again? You know, he pandered to the fans, and he let it affect him. His players saw that.
When you're doing that, you're not coaching.
Right, but the players saw that.
Right. I would agree. Yeah, it's done. It's over. See ya.
Always next year.
Next year, gosh darn,
Right.
they're going to be 8-8.
Right. I don't know. I'm not putting bets in yet, but
And not only the 8-8,
I couldn't even tell you
they'll just
anything.
miss the playoffs.
I mean, I was looked at by a lot of people like I had three heads when I said, they'll never go by better than 7-9. Are you serious? Do you realize? Let me show you this hype video.
Right.
Like, dude, I'm telling you.
I still think that I picked 9-7. I still think that they could have been 9-7. They gave some games away.
They could have been
It's
still
true,
playing.
They did.
Nah, I don't think they're
But-
that good. But yeah, I do agree.
But I'm a realist, and you know, I mean, even with the Bengals, man, you know, after the first 5 or 6 games, I'm like, man, they're done. I'd be, let's not even talk about
Joe
them.
Burrow's going to be week 3 starter.
No. Gosh, I hope not.
Are you willing to put something down on that?
Not yet.
No, you can't call it a week.
Not yet.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm eager for it.
Right.
I haven't been confident in Dalton for probably a solid 3 years. Just not the answer.
No.
Yeah, there's not a good answer there.
But that's our only problem in the Bengals organization.
well, I don't know about that.
Well,
Yeah.
coaching. We might have a head coaching job issue as well, but we don't have. I don't think the Cincinnati fan base, or that I've heard from many fan bases, is controlling as to what happens in the office.
Right. Well, and that comes back to what I think you alluded to earlier, is that when the Browns fans react,
Right.
the ownership responds.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If there's got to be at some point, got it. Thank
Right.
you. Here's our direction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay, I think, to lay that direction out. I mean, there's been many teams that said, all right, we're going to rebuild. It's a 3-year plan,
Right.
4-year plan, whatever it is. We're doing it. This is how we're doing it. We're using this, that, and the other thing. And they stick to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got it. If you can lay that out and do it, I think you're fine. I don't think the Browns are that far away from being a very good team. Honestly,
No.
I think it might be a little bit of a culture issue at this point.
The problem is team.
Right. That's exactly right.
No,
And that,
I mean,
but
there's
that's
a
gotta-
roster.
Right, but that's got to start from the coaching,
Right.
ownership, general
Yeah.
manager, coaching down there, and the players have got to be ready to buy in. I don't know if they are or not.
Yeah.
You
Is
know?
he in head office yet? Stefanski, did anybody know if he came to Berea yet? I mean, settled in.
know.
I think he ended up. I think he's in already.
I mean,
They had him
he's got a
sign his
lot. He's got a lot of work to
contract,
do day one.
Right,
He's got
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of work to do.
right. Well, you know, if the press and the media and everyone's out questioning the hire to get go,
Right.
the players are hearing that.
I think passing on McDaniels was the right decision, though. I will say that.
Okay, go ahead. Why?
Yeah,
I
wasn't
don't
a
see
fan of
Josh
him.
McDaniels as wanting to be here. He would have taken the job if the paper read the right way.
As
but I don't
as
think
you're saying, get his experience
yeah.
and move on.
Well, he already tried it in Denver.
Didn't work.
Didn't work out so well.
Right.
Went back to Bill.
Right.
Bill took him back because hey, why not? A great OC.
Right.
You know. I don't know. What was he even OC?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I he's trying to get back in the limelight. He's trying. He wants that secure head coaching job. I think people are a little hands off with him, especially after the Denver experiment. And I think he saw Cleveland as that dumpster fire that he might be able to extinguish, but that's not where he wanted to be.
Right.
I don't think Josh McDaniels wants to be in Cleveland, nor, like we talked about before, any
It would
other
have been his
established
third
coach.
option.
You know, people are talking about Urban Meyer. Why would Urban Meyer do that? You know, there were other rumors of
Yeah, that's a dumpster fire. He won't want
Winstead,
there.
not Dave Winstead. Who's the other? McCarthy was
McCarthy,
one. No,
yeah.
he's not going to come
Right,
here.
right.
It's
No.
totally different organizational setup than Green Bay. Unless he got full control, which Haslam's not going to do,
Right.
McCarthy won't come here.
Yeah. See, I see Daniel. I see him taking over for Belichick. Quite honestly, and whenever
And we might be
Belichick
on the
steps
verge of
up.
that.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I think when Tom goes, Bill's going to go.
well, and that could be.
Could be sooner than later.
Yeah, he's already moved out of the state of Massachusetts. That's
Right.
well documented, and they've cleared out his suites and everything like that. So yeah, but,
and kudos to him. I mean, every player wants to go out on top. It's just realizing when, calling the right shot when you're,
Right,
not
right.
on top anymore.
Right.
But I don't think it's I don't think any head coach is a bad decision per se. We don't know. He hasn't been, especially first time. He's never been there before. You have nothing to base it on. It's no different than any draft pick that comes out of college and gets inserted in any team. Or any team has the potential to win. It's just mixing the right amount of talent with the right amount of coaching and direction and vision.
Well, knowing the fan base and that. And
That's
all
the
that,
Browns' biggest. That's the Browns' biggest killer.
I know. It's true. Well, just imagine with Al Lerner and that he cared about the organization. If he didn't pass,
He's
when
the only
he
owner
did,
that has.
Where would they be now if he had a few more years with it?
Different. You're right. You're right.
He actually really cared. His son, let's face it, he knew it was a dumpster fire. He showed up when he had to.
Well, it wasn't a dumpster
Be
fire
up
when he took
there.
over. He just didn't give it the attention it needed.
And that too.
There was no secret about that.
But at the tail end, when he finally,
Yeah.
it was a dumpster fire.
Listen, Randy Lerner is no different than Jimmy Haslam. While as prestigious as it probably is to say, "Hey, I own a NFL team," they are purely in it for the money.
Oh,
Okay. Maybe, and this is my interpretation of Al Davis, Jerry Jones. They like the notoriety. They don't get me wrong. They love the game. Number one.
Right.
Number two, I'm sure they're making their money and enjoying it as well.
Right.
But I think the love of the game really takes over. I don't know how to. I just it's just a different vibe. Even
No, I
Robert
got it.
Kraft for a little bit. I mean, Kraft Foods. I mean, the dude doesn't need the team to make
Right,
money, right?
right.
He's doing it because he enjoys it. It might be a hobby, of a love of a game. I'm sure you just don't go and buy something if you don't enjoy it. But
Well, especially with
I
that
think-
kind of bucks.
I think knows enough to say, I'm going to hire the right people and run it.
All right. Well, I tell you though, to that point though, Patriots have gotten by for years on underspending. You know what I mean?
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Taking, getting rid of players, just joining.
I think they're moneyballing it, tell you the truth.
Well, yes, that's a great equivalency. That they've been gotten by that way for years, and I gotta believe that Belichick is a key piece to all that. I mean, because of the role he plays there.
Right.
So when he steps out, to assume that someone even like McDaniel, who's been there for years, can
Right.
continue that. is that's tall order, man. Those are big shoes to fill. Things change, and I don't see that continuing like that.
One of the things that I don't want to say worry, but the Patriots, Edelman just got arrested.
Yep.
Whatever knucklehead vandalism he was doing in, I think it was California.
Yeah, he jumped on a car, hood of a car or something.
And it's
silliness.
Do you sense a lack of? I mean, the pickup of Antonio Brown and the release.
Right.
I mean, do you sense a desperation within the organization?
Well, let's be honest. They also know Brady's getting ready to leave,
Sure.
And so there could be some pressure there. Hey, win a 1 or 2 more if possible,
Right.
And then go from there. But they've been doing that for years, though. I mean,
Right.
they've been picking up questionable players for years. Maybe not to that extent, but so guys who've had issues elsewhere,
Right.
And they've come in and either have worked out, or quite frankly, they keep them a couple weeks, move on. I mean, that's they've been doing that for a long time. Trying to get lightning in a bottle, if you will.
Right.
But I do think with him being Brady, leaving, everyone knows it's close to the end of his career, is trying to get that last 1 or 2. Sure, there might have been some play in there to get that. But at some point, I mean, the Patriots they got to reload, man. They got to start over, and frankly, it's time. But they've been so good, they're not getting the draft picks. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have to hit. You know what I mean?
Do you
Something
think?
lower.
Do you think McDaniels coming to listen to the Browns' offer might have been a little nudge to Kraft, kind of like, hey, Bill ain't got much longer, and I might be gone. Who you got
sure.
and wait?
Maybe,
Yeah. I mean, for sure, you got to listen to that and watch what's going on. I mean, if you have in my shoes, if I got an assistant coach that wants to move up, I mean, I never would tell them no.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But in the same aspect, if I've got a head coach who I know's on the fritz, getting ready to leave in a year or a few months or whatever, and I got an assistant that you're wanting around, then you'll have that conversation for sure. But you still gotta go through the process and go. But Kraft himself's in some trouble too. I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot going on there too. So it might be a situation where he might be turned over to his kids or what have you. And even though it's your family, it's not always run the same way. I mean, Steinbrenner's, when their kids took over the Yankees, things changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's different. It's so I do think that's a possibility that's been kicked a little bit.
Well, if anybody's in a football fan and enjoys Netflix, Netflix is getting ready to release I'm assuming it's a documentary on Aaron Gonzalez.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
So
talk about his family, how his upbringing and
his upbringing, a lot of interviews with family, friends, players, so on and so forth. Kind of bringing you in the mind of him and
that should be
talking
very
about dumpster fires.
You're not kidding.
That's a buzzword for today's show. I'm saying, but no, check it. I'm definitely going to check it out. I already got it flagged to let me know when it goes live. I think it's sometime this week But that should be interesting.
It definitely will be. I mean, I've read a little bit on it. It should be. It should be very. What a heartbreaking story. I mean,
demise. Demise.
So,
but with that said, man, it's 10 o'clock. That hour kind of went fast.
Hey, let me say this before we go out. Get a plug into our Lakers.
Yes.
The men are still receiving votes to be ranked in the top 20 in the country, and our women are currently ranked 13th in the nation.
Both of them are doing very well.
And we play tonight.
Right.
We play here against Lorain County Community College, so it's a local flavor game. So come check them out. It's free to get in, and check them out. Both teams are doing very well, and we're looking forward to it. So come check them out.
Go Lakers. Free.
Free. Next Wednesday is Cuyahoga, so that'll be a big game. At home. So that'll be a big game. We definitely want everyone out there.
I think I'm going to pop up for that bad boy.
That'll be a good one.
Now that school's over.
Zane.
I know, but school's finally over.
Final
for me,
last
it is.
words. What the final last words of he's going to show up next Wednesday?
He may. School's over. I'll buy a Irish hot dog if you show.
Okay.
That's been a while.
Yes, they have. They've been pretty good lately, I have to say. But we'll see.
All right.
Go Lakers.
Go Lakers. Bye-bye now. Have a good one.